What is up, everyone? Just from Fitment Industries FI Garage, and we are back with yet another episode of What Wheels Fit. And today, we are going to be covering one that has been well requested, and that is the Honda S2000. Now, before we go ahead and get into it, don't forget to subscribe, and also, you can check out wheels, tires, and suspension, like a whole lot of it, over at fitmentindustries.com. That being said, let's just jump right into it. For the Honda S2000, we have a recommended fitment range of 17 to 20 inches for the diameter, 7 to 9 inches for the width, and offsets landing right around plus 35 to plus 50. All with a bolt pattern of 5 by 114.3, which is a very common bolt pattern for tuner cars of those years. So if you're looking for wheels for your S2000 and they are landing within that recommended fitment range, you should be set to go without having to worry about a whole lot as far as fender rolling or removing liners or anything like that. However, let's step out of the comfort zone just a little bit and look at some specific setups on these cars. First, we'll start off with the tucked fitment because, believe it or not, it is actually more common on these cars than you might first imagine. So first, we have a 2006 S2K running some 17 by 9.5 plus 57 wheels on a 245/40 tire. Now that is a pretty high offset. Now sitting on some K-Sport air suspension as well. Note, however, because of this high offset, there is some rubbing at full turn, and to get it to sit so low, there was some fender modifications needed to allow this car to fully air out. So just rolling the fenders was necessary. Next up, we have another example on some air suspension. Again, very common with tuck setups. This time running a staggered setup with an 18 by 8 plus 25 in the front and an 18 by 9 plus 13 in the rear on some 215/35 tires all around on Airlift Performance air suspension. As you can see from the pictures, the rear does come very close to being a flush or fender to lip fitment, but still is tucking the entire wheel with the amount of camber that is on it, so that's why it falls into this category. And then on to our last example of tucked fitment, we have a 2005 S2000 running a square setup of ESR SR07s. The size of 18 by 9.5 plus 35 and a 245 tire, again, sitting on Airlift Performance air suspension. We also see this car have its fenders rolled as well to allow it to air out fully. Moving on to our next type of fitment on these cars, we have the more popular flush or nearly flush fitment. First, we have a lovely example of this 2007 Honda S2000 with some Enkei NTO3s and a size of 18 by 9.5 plus 40 square setup, running some 245/40 tires on some coilover suspension. Now, I actually really like this setup on this car because it looks simple yet aggressive at the same time. Quick note that the fenders are rolled and pulled on this setup to get everything to fit. So maybe 18s aren't your thing. So if you want to go with 17s, here's an example for that as well. 2007 on some 17 by 8.5 plus 45 wheels with a 245/40 tire on some KW suspension coilovers. Still needing those fenders rolled, however. Our last example of a flush fitment we're going to look at today is a classic 2004 on some Enkei RPF1s, probably one of the most popular setups on this car, with a size of 17 by 9 plus 45 square setup again, rocking a 235/45 tire on some Buddy Club coilovers. No spacers, no nothing, but still needing those fenders rolled. A very common trend that we see, especially with this type of fitment on these cars. And then on to our last type of fitment for today, which is going to be our stance slash fender to lip slash sizes that you probably wouldn't think would fit this car and this type of fitment. Just to show that it is possible to run these kind of wheels on these cars with a pretty extensive amount of either fender modifications or suspension modifications to dial everything in. So with that being said, first up we have a 2004 S2K on some Art in Motion MA27s staggered setup, 18 by 10 plus 15 in the front, 18 by 11 plus 20 in the rear with a 215/40 and 225/40 tire, sitting static on some coilovers. Next up, we have a beautiful 2007 on some Work Emotion CR Kawamis, 18 by 10.5 plus 22 square setup, 225/40 tire on some Airlift Performance air suspension.
How about some more 11 wides, huh?
Yes, they even can fit on these cars. A 2005 on some SSR SP5s, 18 by 10 plus 5 in the front with an 18 by 11 plus 6 in the rear on some 215/35s and 225/35s, all sitting on some universal air suspension. So as you can see, there are a lot of different widths and offsets that these cars can run, but as far as diameters, we mostly see everything sticking around 17 or 18 inches in diameter. As far as the style or design, Enkeis are very, very common. Wheels like the RPF1 or the NTO3 Advan racing, work, raise, all very common on these cars as well. And if you're not running coilovers, then you are running air suspension. So there you have it, some examples of what wheel, tire, and suspension setups fit for the Honda S2000. If you didn't see anything in this video that really suits what you're looking for, you can hop over to the gallery over at fitmentindustries.com and check out all of the S2000s on there for yourself. There's plenty of different options to choose from, plenty of different fitment types, and plenty of different wheel and tire setups. And it's actually where we gathered all the data for not only this episode, but all of our previous episodes as well. So don't forget to check out wheels, tires, and suspension over there, fitmentindustries.com. I'm Gels. We will see you later. Peace.